All right, hello everyone. This is the Black Eel podcast. This is one of your hosts, Scott, and our other host,
Mike.
Mike.
Hey,
So
I'm
today we're
Mike.
gonna we're gonna go over yeah. So today we're gonna go over some stuff. So we're gonna start off with Star Wars, move into DC, especially what has just been dropped today during the Super Bowl, and then we're going to move on to Marvel, and then we're gonna end it the same way we've been doing, and doing like a character spotlight on two characters that aren't well known to non comic book fans. I guess is the best way to put it. They're not mainstream characters. I guess is the best way to put it.
Characters that are not in
Not
the
that they
spotlight.
haven't had like, yeah. I mean, the other thing too is that's not to say that they haven't had any like adaptation of it in recent times. It's just not been one of the big ones, for sure.
Hmm.
So let's move right into Star Wars. Big things that happened actually. The Bad Batch had 3 episodes air in this 2 week period, which is huge for us. Um, Especially so, let's start with the very first one that was new, which was what was it, Tribe, or was it it was with the Wookiee.
Good description. Um, yes,
Well, no, you know which one I'm
I know
talking
which one you're
about.
talking about. Uh,
I want to say it was Tribe, but
I will tell you in 2 seconds.
technical difficulties.
All right,
But um so yeah,
you
so
are correct. It is
it
called Tribe.
starts okay, perfect. So what happens is in the beginning of this, we see. Well, first off, spoilers ahead. Stop right there. There's Wookiees. There's Wookiees. There's Wookiees. Um.
And spiders.
So anyway, we yeah, yeah. Well, yeah.
Alien spiders, but they're
Um.
spiders.
Yes, they're the closest things to spiders we've seen. Um. At least in this anyway. So yeah. So what happens is the Bad Batch is on a mission to hand over Emperor. I'm sorry, Empire credentials to this robot race. I'm not even quite sure who they are. They seems to be a, a criminal like black market group of droids that sell a variety of things, and we find out also organic things, specifically living creatures. And what happens is while this is going down, we see a familiar face. It is the Wookiee Jedi, and we see him being what looks like first off being tased, but trying to be thrown into a cell. And that's when Omega stops it from happening, and it turns into this big, huge debacle between the Bad Batch versus the robot. I guess army. I guess it would be the best way to put it, or like group. They escape with the Wookiee, and they go to try to bring him back to his home planet. What happens during that phase is pretty much, well, they get him there, and they find that the whole planet is slowly burning, quite literally, from the Empire just trying to wipe out the Wookiees. Mostly due to the fact, I would imagine, on how well they worked with the um, Republic, that they didn't want to risk them going against the Empire because of how powerful and everything else they were. Although that is not canon or like clear as day, but that would be my guess. And then the Bad Batch helps. They actually stick around to actually help the Wookiees take care of their problem. We're assuming they take care of it for an indefinite amount of time. It's unclear if they like completely stop it from happening, but they definitely stop this particular insurgence of attacks. I guess the best way to
Mhm.
put it. And we see that the Wookiee really joins basically his new tribe, because a lot of their homes were destroyed. That they're now having to come together in this new way. And Grun is his name Gringy or Grungy?
Genji.
Gun Gingy.
Yes. Gunji? Gunji, I
Okay,
think.
Gunji. There we go, Gunji. And with Gunji, he is a Jedi. Mm, he's a Force user that has a lightsaber. I don't know if we can clearly call him a Jedi, technically.
So he was a Padawan.
Correct.
Whether or not, so I will call him a Jedi because in the Empire's eyes, he is a Jedi.
Fair
And
enough.
the Bad Batch were calling him a Jedi. Granted, he might not have finished his training because we don't know what has come across with how many years had gone by. We don't know what happened. Um, he has his lightsaber. He has good control of the Force and his abilities, so I will classify him as a Jedi. Whether it's a fully trained Jedi or not, that's we don't know. But
Yeah, I mean that's not that big of a deal. I'm just stating that, like, because it's at one point in the Star Wars series, like there was a fine line between Jedi and
well,
Padawan.
I mean it. Well,
Um,
no, not really, because he's a Jedi. It is a Jedi Padawan, Jedi Knight, Jedi Master.
okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So no matter what, they're not wrong by saying
Yeah.
Jedi. Um, yeah, I mean it was just interesting to see him first off alive,
Hmm.
especially surviving Order 66, because he was a character that we didn't really see much of. He was
I think we only had
was it Clone
Yeah,
Wars we
it was
saw?
Clone Wars. I think we only saw him for one episode when it was the whole bunch of younglings
I think
trying
it
to
was
get
a
their.
two-part episode or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, but like he was the only one that had a wooden
Yep.
lightsaber
Oh, I forgot
or
about
wooden
that.
looking. Yeah, that was like the big thing.
Um, no, when
Um,
when this episode started, I was like, okay, they're doing smuggling stuff like you said, and then as soon as I saw the Wookiee, I'm like, this is him. This is the Jedi Wookiee from that one episode in Clone Wars. And I was because
mm,
I've been seeing online everyone talking about what's ever come to I hope he survived Order 66. It would be so cool if they brought him back, if he was one of the surviving Jedi during Order 66. And then I saw the Wookiee, I was like, they're actually going with it. Awesome.
yeah, yeah, no, it was definitely cool. I think at one point at the very very beginning, I thought it could have been Chewbacca, until we saw his
Hmm.
face. Then it was clear as day that it wasn't Chewbacca. Um, because it was that one tooth thing that just reminded me of the Jedi Wookiee. It was just something so minor just made me think of
Yeah.
him. And then the lightsaber obviously gave it
Hmm.
away. Um, but yeah, definitely, I thought that was a decent episode. I don't think it was like the greatest episode, but definitely, it definitely like it was better than the last couple episodes for
It
sure.
was it was definitely it was nice to see. It was technically a filler episode, I guess, because it
Hmm.
didn't push the main plot of the story, but it had a lot going on. It introduced features from past stories. They brought it back, and it just had a lot going on, and it really showed. Like I really loved that at first Genji, whatever, the Wookiee was when he first saw that they were clones, he was afraid, and he was because Omega wasn't a regular clone, he trusted her enough to be able to trust the rest of the team, which I thought just was great. And like I mean, I really enjoyed this episode. Like you said, it wasn't the best, but it was a nice change of pace from the last couple of episodes that even though not a lot happened, a lot still happened.
Yeah, I also think too, like it kind of wasn't completely
Hmm.
filler, and the reason why I say that is just because of the fact that we get to see the Empire using more than just stormtroopers as their military option,
Pirates.
and that's what they were wanted to go with to
Hmm.
begin with. They're not fully committing to the idea, obviously, yet, but like we're seeing steps towards it, which leads into the next two
Hmm.
episodes, which is the big topic on
That's
that.
true.
So moving right along, the next two episodes is a two-parter, and the main plot of the episodes is the fact that the um, Empire wants to get rid of the clones and start up the Stormtrooper Initiative, or there was a specific name they gave it, but anyway, they wanted to do the Stormtroopers, where it was people from the Republic. I'm not from the Republic, sorry, from the Empire joining the army and having that loyalty there. And what happens is we have this. I don't want to say side plot because I feel like that doesn't give it justice enough. But there's two clones talking. about how PO'd they are with what's going on with the Empire and how they're supposed to be good guys, and then one of them gets killed after admitting that he um, told Admiral Rampart that, hey, I know what you did. We were there, and you got to basically smarten up, or else I'm going to tell people. And he gets killed, and then this other clone is being attacked as well, but he escapes. He bumps into a senator who's trying to help the clones, and they try to, he gives her information, but then he tries to go into hiding and calls somebody who we later find out is Rex. And then while this is going on, that senator is trying to figure out what the hell happened to Camino. How did it, because Senator Organa, hopefully I said his name right.
You did. I'm proud of you.
I've been
We've
practicing.
only seen it. We've only heard his name how many times?
Well, actually, ever since the original trilogy, to be honest with you. Because she says her full name.
You're not helping your cause.
I know, but I'm making a point to say how hard it is for me to remember people's names, how to pronounce them,
Oh
really.
God, Golem.
So, yeah, I know you keep bringing that up, and I appreciate it.
My
So
favorite one.
apparently, yeah, there are Pokemon names that I grew up with that I did not say correctly, or I didn't know I didn't say them correctly, and Gollum was one of them.
I hate you.
Um, so anyway, moving back to this, we so the big thing is it's talking about really setting up the retirement of the clones. So she wants to this particular senator wants not only justice for whatever happened on Camino, but for the sheer fact that she wants the clones to have some sort of retirement. They've done a great service, especially when they were the Republic, and now that they've getting older because they have accelerated aging, that they need to be taken care of, and the Admiral Rampart really wants to focus on the fact that we should just not worry about them and move on to stormtroopers because they're going to be more loyal. Is the thought of the process, and the whole plot keeps moving towards this, and we find out that Rampart hired an assassin to take out the clone and now the senator, and Rex actually saves the senator, and they find out that the assassin was actually a clone specifically whose numerical
His identification number.
program was wiped, which is something nobody ever knew could be possible, which I'll bring up why I think that's important a little bit later. We then move on to the fact that Rex now calls in the Bad Batch to help this situation out. They then come. They have to get the information off of Rampart's ship, and Omega's with the senator to keep her safe, which I find very weird, but again, we'll move on to that a little bit later. And what they do is they get a report from the former senator of Camino, along with the actual, it's command log of what happened on Camino from Rampart's ship, and it is shown to the entire Senate, and everyone starts freaking out. And then what happens is the Emperor rises from the middle and basically states that unfortunately these accusations are correct, and Admiral Rampart must be punished for these crimes, and they arrest him. And during this, the Emperor basically says, this proves that the clones are too loyal, that we need to have people from the Empire to actually be a part of this and be stormtroopers. And that's how there's a little bit after where the Bad Batch talks about how, the Empire planned this from the get-go, the Emperor, planned this from the get-go, and Echo teams up with Rex and leaves the Bad Batch. Whether it's temporary or permanent, he claims it's temporary, but we'll have to see what happens. But that's how the episodes go. So for me personally, the reason why I feel like that piece is important is because we don't know who that assassin is. It could have technically been Cody, because he was taking orders from Admiral Rampart. Now, that is not proven. It is by no means, hinted at or anything like that. But I feel like because we didn't see what happened and clones are disappearing, I feel like there's got to be some sort of, and we've talked about this before, brainwashing of the clones
Hmm.
again in a new way because they know Order 66 is failing
Yep.
or wearing off, depending on how we will put it.
Yeah. I don't think Cody was that clone. That it was the assassin, but I definitely think that, like you said, I don't remember if we talked about it in the past episode or if it was just us talking about it. But when Cody disappeared, I think his going onto the abandoning the Empire. I think it was he actually got taken. He's going into re-education, and when they saw the clone, definitely I agree with you that it is him being re-educated, and he's going to be a pure Empire assassin for anyone that goes against the Empire, specifically for the clones. Um, I don't think, like I said, I don't think that Cody was that assassin because I don't think it would have been such a nonchalant, oh, whatever, that was actually Cody, and we're gonna find out later. I think we're gonna have a bigger reveal because Cody is such a major character that it would be kind of bad to have such an important character just tossed away like that, like it was nothing, and not a proper send off, at least in my eyes.
Well, I think the reason why I was thinking that was because it would hurt more in the fact that they couldn't even recognize him. You know what I'm saying? Like in my mind, that would be like the perfect. It would be the perfect way to show the Empire being so destructive, really, like destroying the clones and what they stand for, in the fact that they can't even figure out who each other are anymore, um, and that they are in full control of them. Although I do agree with you, it would probably be better if they happen to stumble upon the factory that it's in and they see Cody in
Mhm.
it. That I agree with you would be different, and also possibly better. But you understand what I'm getting
Yeah,
at.
no, I get it. I think the only reason that I'm a little bit hesitant with that idea was because of the fact that um, even though they don't recognize every clone, I think there are certain clones that they recognize no matter what, like Rex, no matter what, like they recognize Rex at all times, even if they don't see whatever, they have those certain features, whereas that clone might not have had, because he wasn't a well-known clone, might not have had a feature that every other no clone would know. Commander Cody was Commander Cody. Everyone knows who Commander Cody is, so he might have those, like Commander Cody and Captain Rex. Everyone knows who they are, even if they are in disguise or whatever. Like whenever the Bad Batch see Rex, instantly it's Rex, even before they hear his voice or whatever it is. They just know it's who it is. That's my thought. Like you said, the re-education program could change that, and like you said, the Empire could be so severe that it could. Um, I need to learn to stop talking with my hands. Need to that could change that, but that's just my thought process to why it would not be Cody, because of the fact that I feel like he would have something that they would recognize him, even if his identification number or whatever goes away.
Also, too, I think it would be too early, too. Now that I think
Yeah,
about it, I think it would be too soon. Because I feel like the re education has to be a significant amount of time because
true.
it's not so much just reprogramming them, it's completely making them submissive at that
Yes.
point. And I think that's going to take longer, especially with the inhibitor chip weakening.
Hmm.
Because it seems like they're all weakening, in my
Order
opinion.
66
And
is
I
passed,
don't
so
know
now
if
all
the,
that initial mind control is gone.
correct. And I think now, and like we've heard multiple times, the clones are becoming more and more aware
Hmm.
of what they've done
Yes.
and realizing that there's a
Hmm.
problem. So that's definitely the big thing. I'm curious at where it's gonna go now. Like I don't know like story wise where it's gonna go. Like I have a feeling they're gonna stumble upon possibly the training camp, possibly being discovered. Excuse me, discovered by the Empire. But like there's so many different ways it could go. Like I'm not confident I know where this particular story is heading
Hmm.
towards. You know what I'm saying?
I think there's going to be more of clones. I think it's now going to be, because now the Empire is going to be working towards um, the stormtroopers. We're going to be seeing the Empire disposing of the clone troopers, and you're going to see them starting to rebel. Um, I think there's going to be a couple more things going on because you saw in the previous episodes with Crosshair realizing what's going on, especially after he's heard Cody going AWOL. I got the hints that he saw something fishy as well. I think he is starting to be less loyal, and I think there's going to be more interactions with him going forward. You know, the Bad Batch coming to find him.
Or even him going to the Bad Batch.
Yeah, that's possible too. I feel like that's less likely unless. So if it's just one of those situations where the Bad Batch does something with the Empire and Crosshair happens to be there, then like something
Yes.
goes wrong and Crosshair's like, okay, this isn't right. Then he'll go looking for them. Otherwise, I think maybe over time, as the Bad Batch is starting to do something and they're seeing clones getting replaced, they're going to say, we have to go help our friend and try to help him. But I think going forward that we're going to be seeing more clones going away and they're going to be starting to fight back and we're going to see more of that. But otherwise, overall, story-wise, outside of that, anyone's guess right now.
Correct, but it's definitely. I personally think this is better than season 1.
Right now, yeah.
It's well because there haven't, and whether it's the same amount of filler episodes or not, they've spread it out differently.
Mm-hmm.
Where I feel like that's what's making it better, and I think that's why it's kept my interest more this time around.
Yeah.
I mean, there were definitely a couple of weeks in this one where I was kind of like, but realistically, overall for the series, I'm definitely happy about it.
Yeah, so far, and it's been 8 episodes so far?
It's
7 episodes? Yeah. And we still how many episodes? It's supposed to be 16 episodes, right?
I think it's 16.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be 16 again.
So we still have a long way to go.
Correct. I mean, we're not even. I don't even think we're halfway there yet. In fact, I'll tell you in 2 seconds. Actually, I believe. Sorry, it is 8 episodes, so we are halfway done.
Oh, it is 8 episodes. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah. So it's 7 weeks technically. That's what threw me
Okay.
off. It's been 7 weeks because they had the double episode for this one. Wait, did they have a double episode for the first 2 episodes?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's only been 6 weeks. Yes, no, they did. They did.
What?
Yes,
Well,
because my first.
Was it a double episode or 3 episodes?
No, it was just
2
2
episodes? Okay.
It was a double premiere or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so either way, I was surprised for them to do 2 episodes in the middle of the season. Yeah. But it makes sense, obviously, based on the content of what happened. Yep. But yeah, definitely, I highly recommend if you haven't seen those episodes, watch them. They were so.
And it also gave us a taste of just how good Palpatine was, with how just being able to. He had his plan, and the plan didn't go according to go. The plan didn't go according to plan, so he created a new plan right on the spot.
He did it in such a great way where it was like he took responsibility for the Empire screwing up in such a way where they used a scapegoat.
Mm-hmm. He saved face.
Correct, and that was the whole thing. And like he did it in such a way, and then was like, you know what? Those clones that were under him were way too loyal. They will listen to somebody who will defy the Empire. How can we trust them? Mm-hmm. So let's now have stormtroopers. And I'm like, damn. Like, good on him. Like, that's all I have to say is, like, that's a plan within a plan within a plan, man.
Yeah.
I give him a lot.
And like I said, it just showed they did a good job with something so simple, but they did such a great job portraying what a masterful planner that guy was.
Oh,
with
100%.
Everything.
I mean, it's also, too, it shows why so many stayed loyal to the Empire for so long. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes more sense now. Mm-hmm. Like, he's like, I agree with you. This is a problem. We're going to take care of this right now. And, like you said, saving face, like, showing to the public, like, hey, we will not tolerate this kind of thing. We're getting rid of him.
Yep.
Even though he was following orders.
Yeah.
But they don't know
No.
that. And I think that's the coolest part of the whole thing. But yeah, definitely looking forward to the next several episodes. I mean, we got half the season left.
Obviously there's going to be definitely, like, it's inevitable. There's going to be some filler episodes, but with
Well, yeah, but I think I'm not as worried about it
yeah,
now, based on what we've seen so far this
yeah,
season. Where, yeah, we're probably going to have a filler episode next, but I don't think it's going to be as like there are not going to be as many filler episodes so close together,
yeah,
based on what we've seen so
yeah,
far,
and
which I think is what's going to
and
make it better.
at least for me, I know you had a little bit of a different mindset, but out of the 8 episodes that we've seen so far, there's only been one episode that I didn't like.
So I agree. So it's not that I didn't like them necessarily. It was just for the sheer fact that I was thinking way too much of like season one, where I was like, "There's just gonna be so many filler episodes." Because the first two were good,
Mhm.
and then the third one was decent. Oh no, the third one was good too because that was Crosshair. Um,
Yes.
and then it went off the rails for a little bit.
Then episode
Um,
4 was about Sid, I think.
yes, and then episode five was the treasure hunt, the Indiana
Yep, which
Jones.
is the one I did not like.
Then and then six was the tribe, and then seven and eight just
Yep.
came out, which were
Yep.
phenomenal. But I mean, like what I'm getting at is with
It's already a different
when
pace.
those first correct, but the first three episode aired, and then the fourth and the fifth, I was like, oh great, we're gonna go right into the same trope as season
Mhm.
one. So that's why I didn't like them as much. But soon as 6, 7, and 8 came out, I mean, 6 was still a filler episode, technically in a way, sort of. But like in my opinion, it wasn't a full filler episode. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But like 7 and 8, I was like, I'm good. Like I'm happy. We can continue.
I approve.
I approve exactly. And that's the big thing. You know what I'm saying? So we're definitely moving forward. And then obviously, not the next episode, but the episode after. I'm talking about for us. We're going to be starting about the Mandalorian.
Yep.
Because that's going to be coming out. So we're going to have two things to talk about for Star Wars, which will be
So
excellent.
much
So
content.
let's move. Well, yeah, there actually is now. But there'll be a lull at some point. The big thing now is we got to move on to DC. And if you have not seen
Finally.
the trailer, right? So like, there's been so much talk about this movie, and not for good reasons.
Yep.
And I think
We've
this trailer, in my opinion, like makes it look. First off, like there was a big hype for this movie to begin with, from like DC from the get go. There's been a big hype, and with all like the negative press that they've had for like such a long time, because of everything that was going on with the controversy with the main actor, they released the trailer during the Super Bowl, and holy shoot, I thought it was great. I'm sorry, I thought it was great. So we see two flashes. I mean, this spoilers alert. Two flashes, two confirmed Batman. We'll get into that in a little bit. Supergirl, and Zod,
Yep.
General Zod.
Yep.
Those are the only ones that have been 100% confirmed, visually and all that stuff. So the big thing, obviously, is we have two flashes. They are the same person, but of different timelines. And it looks like to me, and I could be wrong in this, the Flash from this timeline isn't the Flash. He's just Barry. It made it seem like the one that we know kind of gave him the power in a way.
Are
It was tough to,
are
in the trailer.
are you saying the Flash that we know stays the Flash, stays the Flash, and the other universe's Flash is not the Flash? This is confusing.
So the other universe, the other timeline, he is not the Flash.
Okay. Yes.
He turns into the Flash because this guy comes
Yes.
in.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So like that's what it made it seem in the trailer. Now I could be completely wrong, but that's what it looked
No,
like.
I just wanted
And
to
then his-
confirm that we were on the same page, because
Yes.
I didn't quite catch how you again talking with my
Worded
hands. Yes, how you worded it. So
Yeah. No,
or how I heard it.
so it's two different timelines, which we're not surprised about. A minimum of two different timelines, because I feel like there might be some more in there somewhere, but we'll get into that in a bit. And so what we have is what looks like a combination, and like almost, I don't want to say but it's like it's the timelines smashing into each other.
Mhm.
We're almost getting into like an Infinite Crisis type of deal, but not to that scale. In the sense of we're having timelines smash into each other. It looks like, just from the trailer.
I didn't take it like that.
That's how I took it, because at one point you see like the world
Mhm.
crumbling. And again, I could be wrong, but anyway, so we see that, and we see the two of them now being speedsters, and one's got the yellow and one's blue.
Yep, which
Um,
was interesting.
uh, yeah, I was kind of confused by that. I'm not quite positive if that means it's a different, like, obviously it's a different Flash, but I mean, I don't know if it changes the powers at all. What we see also is we see Ben Affleck as Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck,
Specific.
as
Well,
Bruce Wayne.
is it though, or is it just Ben Affleck being Ben
Listen,
Affleck?
just because he's good at it doesn't mean he's playing himself.
That's fair. He is a good Bruce Wayne. I will say that. But anyway, we don't see him in a suit to our knowledge. That we can say for sure.
No,
I don't think we saw him in the
we
suit.
saw him in a Batman suit.
We we did.
Yes,
Oh, well, I guess
I
we're
I
having a
will I will
disagreement.
pull up the trailer right now, and I will.
No, no, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to argue with you right now. We'll argue later.
We're
Um,
gonna argue right now because now you're challenging me.
So I honestly, I remember him being in it, obviously, but I don't remember him being in a suit, because the person we see in the suit, full on,
Is
is
Michael Keaton Batman? So there was one scene where Batman was going by fast. I think it was with a grapple hook, and you just see him like sliding. That was the Ben Affleck Batman.
But we're not. So the reason why I say we're not sure on that, and there's a reason why I'm saying that, is because I'm not positive, because it looked like there were three different Batmen.
I agree.
So Ben Affleck's Batman is 100% confirmed in this. Michael Keaton's Batman is 100% confirmed in this one. And at one point, we see a Batman on a scooter, well, motorcycle type vehicle that is very similar to the one he used in The Dark Knight,
hmm
which is Christopher Nolan's Batman, aka Christian Bale.
Yep.
Now, none of this is confirmed in the sense of that it is the same Batman in that universe, but that's why I was talking about multiple timelines more than just two, because we might see three Batman. Um, but we don't know that for sure. The only, like I said, I've said it multiple times, and I'm going to say it again just to reiterate that Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton are the only two Batman that have been confirmed, for sure.
Yep.
Then Supergirl has been confirmed, and her suit actually. So the reason why I said we weren't positive which Supergirl it was, even though they say her name, was because her outfit looks exactly like when Lois Lane takes on the mantle of Superman.
hmm
So that suit that Supergirl wears in the trailer looks very similar to the one where Lois Lane takes over as Superman.
Yep.
She gets his powers, I forget how, but they were actually copying Thor's storyline, with Jane Foster taking on the mantle of Thor. So then Lois Lane takes over the mantle of Superman. And her costume looks very similar to that Supergirl. So that's why I found, especially with the brown hair too, like made me think like, oh, is that supposed to be like the Lois Lane type of thing? Or what's going on? Because it's a different timeline. Lots of things could be different. So definitely curious on that piece, on how they figure that out. And then the big surprise for me personally,
Do you have your phone on you?
obviously,
Do you have
huh?
your phone on you?
Yeah, why?
Okay.
Are you sending me a picture of
Yes.
it? Okay. Because of course he's got to send
I
it.
gotta prove you
Oh,
wrong.
you sent me the whole trailer?
No.
Oh no, you didn't. Okay, I got you. All right, yeah, you win. But I don't know. That's clearly Ben Affleck.
If you scroll in on his face, it's clearly the Ben Affleck Batman.
All right, no, okay.
That one I will die on the hill saying that is Ben Affleck Batman.
All right, I'm not gonna argue. I will say that it's very suspiciously looking like him. Anywho, um, yeah. So anyway, so the big surprise for me personally was General Zod coming back.
hmm
We knew that Michael Keaton was going to be in this movie for a long time. We heard that.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if it wasn't confirmed right away, but there was a lot of rumors about that from the get go. From the moment the Flash was announced, like Michael Keaton will return as Batman. Was like the
I know
main-
it's been a while, but I'm pretty sure Michael Keaton said that he came back, he returned as Batman in this.
I thought that there was a little bit of gap in time of the announcement of Flash, the rumors of Michael Keaton returning, and then Michael Keaton saying, "No, I'm Batman."
Hmm.
I thought that it wasn't a huge gap of time because the problem with all this was the Flash movie was announced so early, and so many things were happening at that time, like especially with all like the legal stuff
Well,
happening
it was the
and
whole
all the
yeah, it
like.
was the whole rework of DC and all that stuff. So,
Well, that was the other thing too. All these DC movies
hmm
canceled, and then his, this one wasn't, and anyway, there was a lot of talk in general. Because this wasn't supposed to be the only movie that Michael Keaton was supposed to return in.
yeah, he was supposed to be in Batgirl. There was
Yeah,
rumors that he was going to actually be in the Batman Beyond movie that
Batman
was coming in.
Beyond.
Uh, but now those are nixed. Um, I don't remember if he was going to be an Aquaman or not. I don't remember that.
I don't think so, but I do know that something happens in the Flash that leads into
Yeah,
Aquaman
yeah,
2.
according to James Gunn,
Um, yeah, that's what he says. So I have to go by what he says because he's the one that runs it,
obviously.
obviously. Um,
But yeah, for me, just this whole the for me the Flash from the beginning, like I was originally looking forward to this movie because I knew it was going to be Flashpoint, but then with all the legal drama and personally, like I had mixed feelings for the start of this movie because personally, when it comes to the Flash, I wasn't a huge fan of Ezra Miller. I preferred the CW Flash. So whenever I saw like and plus the fact that I wasn't a fan of Batman versus Superman and Justice League, I already had a bad taste in my mouth. So I just wasn't hyped for this movie. I was hyped for the theory because I knew it was Flashpoint and I really liked the Flashpoint story. Um, but like I was like I was looking forward to it, but at the same time I wasn't. And now when this trailer finally dropped, I'm just like full on, let's go. I'm super excited. I'm ready for this reboot, and it looks like it can be anything that something that I like everything that I wanted that I didn't know I wanted out of the Flash movie.
well, I think the other thing too is just the sheer fact that anything can happen in this
Hmm.
movie and it won't ruin the future. Meaning, like they could kill the Flashes
Yeah.
off. You know what I'm saying?
This is just
And
this is
realistically,
the same mindset of granted I was more hyped about the other movie. This is just like how it was for Doctor Strange because
yes.
it's multiverse and it's well yeah no it's not really multiverse it's a time lapse so or time reboot.
Well, it's an argument can be made that it is
It is technically
multiverse.
multiverse. It is multiverse technically,
Yeah,
where anything can happen and it won't be wrong. So
correct.
um,
But I also think they're not using the word multiverse just for the sheer fact that Marvel's already using it. As stupid as that sounds,
well because this isn't.
I think that's a piece of it.
I mean it's not really. I mean the Marvel doesn't really have the rights to multiverse. So I mean
No, but you understand because of Madness of the Multiverse coming out, that like Marvel's big thing right now is the multiverse, and I think they would want to distance themselves a little bit from it. Not so much that Marvel owns the word, obviously, but like we're doing something different. Like this is the timeline.
well, I
You know what I'm
mean,
saying?
like I
Like
said, that this is following the story of Flashpoint. So this is the Flashpoint paradox. So everything that's going on, which is why I said earlier when you said that this was the multiverse, like the worlds colliding kind of thing, where
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember if you did, but I thought you did. Did you see the movie or read the comic, The Flashpoint?
I must have, but I don't like. I remember it like Bruce Wayne's dad is
Yeah.
Batman. Like so, like I know the basic details of it. I don't think I remember every piece of it.
Yeah, so they're basically going off of that, where the
Mhm.
Flash, because he misses his mom and he's he's hurting so bad that he wants to go back in time and fix everything. So he goes back in time, and when he goes back in time,
He changes
he
everything.
changes everything. Like he said in the trailer, there's no metas, so it makes sense by going back in time because there's no metas. Zod can just come in and take over the world because Zod never died. He never fought Superman. He
Correct.
still wants to terraform Earth because his mission is still there. Just the difference is instead of Clark being around, it is now Supergirl, which I which I think is a nice change from the Flashpoint comic dash movie,
And it also looked too like she was in prison.
which did happen in the Flashpoint comic dash movie.
No, but you understand what I'm saying. But the, in the sense of like she must have crash landed on Earth,
Yep, yep.
obviously, and then she was. I don't want to assume it experimented on, but it's America. Let's be
So
honest.
in the Flashpoint paradox, Superman crashes, and instead of the Kents finding him, the government finds him, and
Correct.
they imprison him to, like you said, do experiment on. So they have the same vibe, but instead of Superman, it's Supergirl. Totally
Yeah,
works.
and I think the reason why they're doing that is because they're because do we know? We don't know because we not much has been announced. I'm wondering if this is going to be the Supergirl for the new DCU.
It's possible. There's no official confirmation because this is
Because we
so,
know the story of Supergirl in the new movie is going to be grittier because
it is the Woman of Tomorrow. Yes.
yeah, and well, the reason why I'm not positive it's the same one now that I say it is because he made it seem like she's going to be the one that lives on like a rock and watches everyone die type of thing.
So don't forget with this movie, anything that happens, this is supposed to be a clean slate for DC. So
Correct.
everything that happens, it could potentially lead to other projects, but
But it doesn't have to.
whatever happens in this movie, just think of it, everything that's come before is now going to be gone. So I'm going off of until the movie is over and we see Flash return the timeline back to normal, everything that happens is going to be a one-off situation.
All right, fair enough.
Um,
I'm just stating in general because I know they announced one of the first projects is
yep,
Supergirl. Is the point I'm
yep.
making, and that it's supposed to. And he mentioned that it was supposed to be gritty and everything else. And if she's experimented on,
Hmm.
like we think she's going to be, they would make more sense for her to be that
Yes.
way because of what happens in the Flash. But you're absolutely right. That doesn't mean it's the same one. It could be the same actress, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
not the same
Yep.
character. Technically,
Um,
I get that. But yeah, I think there's a lot of speculation, and I agree with you on that. But definitely, I'm more positive about the movie than I was months ago.
100%. I'm looking forward to it. Like you said, we saw that there were two Batmans for sure, Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton. You and I are going on a wild limb and saying maybe Christian Bale is in there because the motorcycle is definitely we've never seen a motorcycle from Ben Affleck or Michael Keaton, so that was definitely Christopher Nolan motorcycle or Christian Bale uh, motorcycle, and the bat riding it looked like Christian Bale. Nothing's been confirmed. We don't know. That's just you and me guessing. Um,
You know who it could be, actually, because I don't think Christian Bale wants to be Batman again. But you know who it could be? Oh my God, what's his name?
Robert Pattinson,
The one that took on the mantle at the end of the third one.
Robin,
Jordan Levitt.
Robin.
Jordan Levitt.
Is that his name?
He-
I don't know his name.
well, that's his actor's name.
But
But
you're trying to say, you're saying it might be Robin.
yeah, but like from that universe.
That
So like
could be possible.
it's from the same universe because he was a cop in the show and then he became well, we assume he becomes Batman.
Well,
Um,
he went to the cave, and we found out that his
correct.
middle name is Robin, so they want him to go by Robin.
But you understand my point I'm making is it would if it's not Christian Bale, it would I wouldn't be mad with him being it
Cool.
because it's at least showing the same
Yeah,
universe.
yeah, it would be something. Although instead of it being Batman, it would be nice to acknowledge Nightwing. Um,
Well, I mean, we're assuming. I mean, he just because he doesn't change the costume doesn't mean he doesn't change the
yeah,
name.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we don't need him to look so much like. You know what I'm saying?
Although it would be weird to
Um,
have Nightwing wearing a cape.
yes, but we also didn't see the front.
No, you're wrong. No, you're not wrong. Definitely not wrong with that. No, I'm just stating it. My thing would be it's weird because I've never seen Nightwing wear a cape.
Well, I mean, he technically has when he's been Batman, but he's gone by Batman at that point,
Yeah,
so it's like a weird situation. But we also don't know that. I mean, very well, he could, whoever it is, could just be going by Batman anyway,
yeah.
regardless, because it makes more sense. Why change the costume?
Um, so before I forget, because so the reason why I was disagreeing with the whole the worlds colliding is
Yep.
so the way I know Flashpoint and it could be completely different, and you could be right with the whole worlds colliding. But in Flashpoint comic, the whole worlds colliding and collapsing on top of each other thing is the Flash, because Flash time traveled. When he time travels, what he wants to do is he wants to live in the present and have all his current memories and have his other universe memories. So what happens when he's time traveling is while in the new universe, the longer he stays in the new universe, his old memories get erased, and the new universe becomes the sole existing.
His.
So the whole world collapsing could be in his mind. His old memories are being erased and being replaced by the new ones.
Oh, so it's very similar to like Looper. Have you ever seen that movie?
It's been a long time, but yeah.
Yeah, with Bruce Willis and also the guy I was talking about earlier too. Um, he plays a younger Bruce
Hmm.
Willis. Um, yeah, so I mean that makes sense. Where it's like as time goes on, the longer and longer he stays there, the less he remembers of his
Yep.
world and his timeline. So therefore, it would be like worlds colliding, but only to him.
Yes.
It wouldn't be for the rest of the world. And the damage we see could have just been from Zod terraforming the planet.
Yeah. Yeah. That's my take.
I mean,
That's my take from
no, you
from
could be
how I
right.
know Flashpoint.
Mhm.
Again, this is going into movie form, so they can change however they want. But I know that
Yeah, I
they're
mean that's
saying
the
that this is going to be taking Gunn has been saying that this, and everyone's been saying that this is just the Flashpoint for the movie. So that's why I'm making my assumptions. Um,
no, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, you're probably 100% right. I think it's just one of those things where we won't know until we see it
mhm,
for obvious reasons.
obviously,
And then, yeah, I mean that's pretty much been the big thing for DC for sure. I mean, obviously we know that Shazam is going to be coming out soon, but it won't be coming out for another month. I think almost exactly a month, to be honest with you.
March 17th, right?
It's in Yeah, so close to it. I mean, it's almost exactly a month.
Yeah.
Um, and then the big thing now is we're gonna shift gears and move right on to Marvel. Um, two things we'll be talking about: the new trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy, and then we're gonna be just talking about what we think is gonna happen in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which airs this Friday.
Thursday.
Well, technically Thursday, but it's midnight.
No,
Even though they started at 10 o'clock.
no. The theaters near me. The first showing is at 3 o'clock. Yeah.
Really? It's not even like a midnight release anymore. They're just doing it Thursday, whenever the hell they
Yeah, they're
want.
just like, hey, let's get a head start.
Whatever. I mean, I'm not. It's probably for the better, but in general, it's just weird
Makes them more money.
because yeah, but it's not the day that they say it's premiering. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
no, I know.
As weird as it
It
sounds. But
it
anyway,
is in my benefit, so
no, it's obviously in your benefit. But you get what I'm
yeah.
saying. It's just weird that they say it and you can watch it the day before. But yeah. So let's talk about Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Um, some things we already knew about. Gamora's on the team again, but we don't know how.
Yep. That's
Um,
still the same.
we we get Rocket's backstory, which we knew
Yep.
about, and we see his love interest or his partner, or whatever you want to
Yep.
call
The
her.
only person he ever loved outside of Groot.
Correct. And then we see them fighting. We don't even know where or what. Um, and then we see Adam Warlock.
Yep.
He's a very short appearance in the trailer. I was surprised. I thought we were going to see more of him. Um, but I think there's got to be some sort of plot point with him that they don't want to show him too much because it's going to give something away. Is my
Hmm.
guess.
Plus, we're
And
still
then we have
months
the
away from the actual movie, so they're not showing everything.
no agreed, but I'm just stating in general. I was surprised because he was announced that he was going to be in the movie. I thought that they would show more because of the announcement
Oh
already,
yeah, you're right.
and like who the actor was and everything else. Like I thought that would be the case. And then we have what I think is the evolutionary.
Hmm.
But it's not. I don't think it's been confirmed. In my opinion, I think it's just speculation for right now. Mostly because the trailer just came out. They're probably not going to make an announcement until probably I would say the earliest tomorrow. But I doubt they'd do it that quickly. They might wait a little bit before confirming who the character
Hmm.
is. Um, but yeah, definitely surprised by that. Um, but also not at the same time. I think for me, I thought it was just going to be Adam Warlock, and they weren't going to add too many things because I think there was a big piece on the fact that we got to figure out why Gamora is still around. Um,
I really hope
I
it's
mean,
not one
but
of those situations where they just it's going to totally be one of those situations where she's just around and we're just going to have to accept it because
I hope that's not the case because there's got to be some sort of explanation to it. And we talked about this earlier today in the fact that we didn't see her after the snap in Endgame from Tony,
mhm.
which makes me question what the heck is going on because yeah, there's a lot missing, and I would assume, and I know what happens when you assume, but I would assume that because Tony Stark knew that Gamora was dead from Thanos, because he was with the Guardians of the Galaxy when the snap happened originally.
Yep.
So he knew that Gamora died because she was thrown off. That's how he got the Soul Stone.
Yep.
So therefore, he would not think to save her in the new snap because he would think she was already dead.
Mhm.
Which is why I'm confused at why she's still alive.
Yeah.
Because I'm taking, and again, we don't know fully what Iron Man was thinking about when he did the snap, but I can't imagine him making it that specific because it's not the real Gamora. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like from because he's a scientist and he's foremost in intellect more than anything else, that he would not think it would be a good idea to keep her around.
Yeah. The only
Now, if
the
he
only
was like an
explanation,
oversight,
like we talked about, like we had just talked about earlier, was the fact that when he snapped, and he's in his mind is remove all of my enemies, which is
she was not an enemy at the time.
yes, because she had
She was fighting with us or with them.
yeah, but one of those things where it's a loophole because he didn't know she was there, he didn't know that she existed, and the universe kind of just took it that okay, she's fighting on their side, she's trying to stop Thanos, so we're gonna keep her alive for uh for reasons.
Well, it also could have been the fact too that it was just the sheer fact that he could have thought of get rid of Thanos and everyone that was working under him,
Hmm.
and at that moment in time, she was not working under
Yeah.
him. I mean, there's a lot of loopholes that they could do, but there's gotta be.
So I know we said that we hadn't seen her. So when Tony did the snap and we watched him die and we did the, the whole spectation of the characters, she wasn't there.
No, because remember when we see the Guardians again, they're looking to find Gamora.
No, no, no.
We don't actually
I
see
know
her.
that. I know that. But my thing was because I don't remember because when they showed all the characters' emotions for seeing Tony die, I didn't remember if Gamora was in the group.
I have to rewatch to know for
Because
sure.
when we were
I
talking
don't
about this earlier, my whole thought process was just okay. At the funeral, she wasn't there, and then the Guardians went to go looking for her.
I don't think she was in that group of watching the because there weren't that many people around when he died. They didn't show everybody. First
I
off,
mean,
I
they
know
showed
that.
all the main ones.
Yeah, and she wasn't. The Guardians weren't a part of that
Yeah,
watch.
they were.
I think it was only Rocket. Honestly, I don't think they were that. I don't remember seeing Gamora there. There was a.
That's
That's.
no, no,
I'm almost positive she was not there.
no. No,
So my point I'm
that's fine. What?
And the point I'm making is the sheer fact that that would make me think that she disappeared
Hmm.
or turned to dust.
Yes.
Now that does not mean that's the fact, obviously, because like we just talked about, there are many loopholes that they could have do to get around that.
Hmm.
I just think that they need to explain it, and although I think they kind of hint at it, like Nebula says, like, "Oh yeah, that's like a watered down version of it," but like you missed some key points, but like that's pretty much right. So I feel like they're gonna explain it, or they have to. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, they
No,
have
they
to.
have to.
So they're gonna explain it in some way, and whether it's a way that I'm happy with or not, it's gonna be explaining it in the way that they understand it.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Where it might not be the exact reason, but it's going to be a reason that makes sense for the audience anyway.
Hmm. No, definitely they need to.
Um, and it looked like at the end of the trailer that Peter Quill was dead.
Oh yeah, I think I mean I don't think that's going to be the scene that he dies if he dies.
No, but I think they're supposed to be foreshadowing the fact that he very well is going to die. I agree with you that I don't think that's the scene. That could be very well in the beginning of the movie where he's like passed out or something.
Got knocked
But
out.
I think that right there is foreshadowing the fact that this is their last movie.
Yeah,
Anything could happen.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and then all right, so let's go with Ant-Man and the Wasp.
That's a quick jump.
What do you think is going to happen?
Okay, well,
Want me to just tell you you're wrong, or do you want to say it?
listen, you. What do I think is going to happen? I think Kang is going to get loose. He's going to kill some people, and he's going to mess with the multiverse. How's that? You going to tell me I'm wrong?
So Mike's right, but that was very much everything we've learned from the trailer. So let's go with my thoughts.
Well, you just told me I was going to be wrong, so
Would you like to add on to it?
so I think my main thought is just like I don't really have many specifics on what's going to happen in the movie outside of like the generic stuff where like we're seeing in the trailer, Kang is trying to manipulate Ant-Man into getting what he wants, and he's using his daughter and his family against him, and using his trying to fight his moral conscience to try to get ahead. Which I know we've talked about it how this is a different bad because we haven't really seen a big bad use that kind of evil tactics in the MCU. Like we've seen the whole, oh, I'm going to destroy your loved ones, but we've never seen him actually, at least off the top of my head, we've never seen him actually use that against him like that. Like I've known we've seen like Pepper Potts get like kidnapped kind of thing, but she ends up saving Tony. We've seen like we've never really I mean, have we really seen like a damsel in distress kind of situation in Marvel recently?
I don't think we've seen like a family in danger, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, I guess you could argue like Hawkeye, but even then, the family was the villain. So, like, I don't. I think you're right in the sense of this is the first time we see the big bad really messing with the family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like messing with the individual family instead of like obviously they mess with the family in the sense of as like the entire planet,
Hmm.
like trying to destroy the world type of thing. But this is the first time we're seeing the actual villain doing something to a very specific person in a very specific way.
Yeah.
I guess the best way to put it.
Um, so I know we've talked about it a few times. I think,
Let me phrase that. That wasn't the character. So like this is the first time we're seeing the villain attacking a very specific person through their love interest slash family.
yeah, the secret identity thing to protect your loved ones. Yeah, this is the first time, at least off of our memory, we're seeing that actually happening for the first time.
In the MCU,
Yeah.
yes, I'm almost positive. Um,
Um, but yeah, like I know we've talked about it. We definitely expect. I
I mean,
and
now that I think about it, it was hinted a little bit in Falcon and Winter Soldier, but it was just used as a threat, and nothing ever came of it. Like, remember what's her name? Flag Smasher, the head of the Flag Smashers, called his sister and was like, "I know your family" and stuff like that, but like nothing actually happened.
oh yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yep.
Where this time Kang is going to do something.
Kang literally has her in
He,
his sights.
correct. He's got her captured.
But yeah, so continuing on, I mean I think Ant Man is going to die, but I know we've talked about it. Which Ant Man we don't know. I know one of my theories before was not uh not Ant Man, but Hank Pym. I thought, he's an Ant-Man. He's the one who's going to be killed. But now that theory is kind of out the door because I just saw recently uh, the actor said that he's open to returning for an Ant-Man 4. So now I'm just like, all right, well, he must be surviving. Or, multiverse. Possible that one of his versions is killed.
Also, flashbacks.
Flashbacks are possible. You're
Flashbacks.
right. I always forget
Like,
about flashbacks.
I mean, think he was technically an Endgame only in a flashback.
True. You're right. Um, but
So even if he does die, it doesn't rule out the fact that he can't be an Ant-Man 4.
yes. Um, but like, what kind of stuff is going to happen? Like, what is Kang going to do? I honestly just can't like imagine it. I have a feeling that I think he's going to. I think. I don't. I think he's going to escape. I think he's going to start like spreading his power into like obviously we know he's powerful, we know he's trying to break out, we know we're going to see how powerful he is in some shape or form in this movie. To make it they're going to show why he's the next big bad. And I know you were saying that this is supposed to be the Kang that we see. This particular one is going to be the Kang that we see throughout the rest of the phase of the MCU.
This Kang is going to be the Kang.
Yes. So,
as stupid as that sounds, but like we were pretty sure we were going to see a lot of different Kangs throughout the MCU, at least in this saga. This one is supposed to be the one.
Yeah. So, I'm thinking we're gonna see him somehow break out. I don't know Kang so well, so I know you could probably come up with more theories of what he could possibly do. So because I don't know him that much.
Oh, and I will. Don't worry.
I know. That's why I was hoping you were going to go first, and I was going to go off of you and say, "Oh, I agree with you" or not. But
Nope.
You threw a wrench in that plan.
Nope. I wanted you to run into that fire first.
Yes, and you did a great job with it.
I did. I did. Some people like to just see the world burn.
All right, Joker.
No, that was actually Alfred that said it. Thank you very much.
No, yeah, but he was describing the Joker.
He was describing people like the Joker.
All right, whatever.
There was a specific reason why I said it. So that's pretty much all you got?
Yeah, really. I'm just going with
Nothing about MODOK? Nothing about MODOK. He's just there.
I honestly don't think he's going to be a major player.
Okay.
I think he's going to be just a minion that Kang uses and takes advantage of. Possibly, I think that he could be a pain in the ass to Ant-Man and the team, but I just don't. I personally don't think he's going to be a major player to really because the focus is going to be for Kang, and I think he's going to be a traditional Marvel where he's the side character that's just like the henchman that's going to be showing, oh, Kang found me, he saved me, I'm going to be his servant, and so I don't think he's going to be a super major player.
So, for me, I believe I agree with you on the MODOK thing in the sense of he's going to be the sidekick for Kang, but he's going to be thinking he's not the sidekick, meaning he's going to be the top tier with Kang.
Yeah.
I'm his number 2 when he's really not, and I think
I'll
Kang's going to use the fact that he hates Scott Lang to his advantage because he's gonna be the one that takes care of the family in the sense of capturing them.
Yeah.
Is my guess. So Kang's not going to get his hands dirty himself, type of thing, which is typical Kang fashion, to be honest with you. I think the big thing that I think is going to happen between you and between what you think and what I think is Michelle Pfeiffer's character should not have aged in the quantum realm.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think she was completely in the quantum realm the entire time. I think she actually worked with a variant of Kang, in my personal opinion. And what happened was, this Kang, whether she agreed with him or whatever, or he was going to help her get out of there, I have no idea. I'm not quite positive on that front whether they were working together willingly or not, but they were working together. And I think then we find that this Kang comes in and just rips that Kang in half. Like, not exactly like that, but like proves how dominant this particular Kang is and how he doesn't give two anything. Like, he does not give a wild anything in the world and just rips his own variant apart. And she escapes, and that's when she finds Scott Lang, who then gets her out of the quantum realm and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the big piece that needs to be explained, because she shouldn't have aged at all in the quantum realm.
Mm-hmm.
So it would make more sense, because she's talked about other things being in the quantum realm before. So for the sheer fact that I feel like she had to have had some sort of interaction with either that Kang, which we already are aware of, but I feel like it has to be another variant as well, because she sees that she had to have seen the multiverse in some sort of shape or capacity, and so that's why she's older, because she had left the quantum realm, but not to her universe like she thought. It went to a completely different one with this other Kang, and then this, all this stuff happened, and she went back to the quantum realm where it was safe, which is weird to think about. And that's when she finds Scott Lang. And so that piece is the I think the big difference between what you and I think, because I feel like there's got to be another Kang there in this movie to show dominance on this particular Kang, because they're not going to just make you think, oh, they've seen Loki. I know it sounds weird when I say that, but they in this movie have to show it to the audience who have not seen Loki, that this Kang is the end-all, be-all. Like, this one is the one who's either they show him murder thousands of Kangs or just like one particular one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then we see, we also, the weird thing for me in this is we don't see a lot of Wasp. So I think she's got to play like a major role in either being captured or being like the one that saves Scott. Because not a lot has been shown of her, which makes me think that there's no way they've been making such a big hype of it being Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, with so little being shown of Wasp.
Yeah.
So she's got to have some major, like, there's got to be way too many scenes of her in very specific plot points where they don't want her to be seen. Where Ant-Man, we just see him in everything, so it makes, not everything is going to be a plot point for him, necessarily. Or at least not so major it's going to ruin the movie. So I feel like she's going to be playing a huge role in the plot points of the movie. And then I imagine, we know for a fact that his daughter uses Pym particles because she has her own suit. Do we actually see her in action? I don't know. But I'm hoping she's going to go by stature and we're going to see her fight in some sort of capacity. And with the Ant-Man thing, I know your friend was talking about this, about the singularity point. So we see that specifically in What If with Superior Doctor Strange, how she, Christine has to die, and that's his, like, that can never change. Like, no matter how many times he goes back in time,
she's going to die.
It's never going to change.
Yep.
So this particular Ant-Man, I think, is needed for Kang because he's the only one that's been able to time travel.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So this particular, because I think Kang is smart enough to be able to get to the quantum realm, but he and I don't want to say he's stupid because that's not the right word to use. I don't think he knows the technology needed to get himself out of the quantum realm where he wants to be.
Yeah.
I feel like he knows how to get out of it, but I think that in some sort of way he cannot actually pinpoint how to get out of it.
He can't actually control it.
Correct. There's a piece that he's missing that he's not quite sure what's missing. And I think that's a big plot point in the movie, I'm assuming. And then obviously he needs Ant-Man to grab this particular thing. It looks like an atom. I don't know what it actually is.
We're going to find out.
Correct. And we see what I'm assuming is all of the other Ant-Man he's asked to go get it at the same time go at it. So I think at this point that's when like time itself is like distorted completely, where that piece is supposed to be the piece that I would assume, and I know what happens when you assume, is the piece that Kang needs to be able to pinpoint exactly when and where in the universe he wants to pop out. And so, because of that, when Scott Lang gets close to it, we see all the other Ant-Man that Kang has wanted to go get it before fail, literally get torn apart, and he's the only one that doesn't. And I think that's what we're seeing in those scenes where
Yeah.
it's not actually the multiverse in the normal sense. It's a specific point in time that's being repeated multiple times by multiple Scott Langs or Ant-Men, I guess is the best way to put it, because we can't say they're all Scott Lang.
Yeah.
But I think that's what we're going to be seeing. And I think what's going to happen is Ant-Man and Kang lose. I know that sounds weird how I say that, but I feel like Ant-Man gets his butt kicked. It's thought that he's dead, or Kang just assumes he's dead because he's just damaged his suit and everything else, and he's bleeding. Let him just die slowly because I'm done with him. Leaves because he loses, in the sense of he lost his ability to get what he wanted, and he's got to find a new way to get out. And so what happens, I'm thinking, is after this, Ant-Man then goes to look for others to help him out. So the idea is in Secret War, and we've talked about this before, there are certain characters that are going to look for other heroes from other universes to help stop Kang. Scarlet Witch was rumored to be one, Shuri to be another, Ant-Man is another. There was a few others rumored, but those were like the main three that will look for other people from other multiverse universes to help out in this battle. And it would make more sense that Ant-Man be one of them, mostly because of his traveling into the quantum realm in the past. And also the sheer fact that he's time traveled, even though he needed help to do so, he knows of the capability of it happening. And I imagine that he isn't stupid. I mean, he's an engineer. I don't know if he's got at least a master's. I know that. I don't know if he has a PhD in engineering. Although most engineers don't actually get a PhD.
Does he? Because I mean, most of his adulthood he's spent in jail.
No, he's got his. He's definitely an engineer. He's an engineer.
I mean, I know he's an engineer, but I always assumed that he never like did anything because he was always doing stuff that ended up getting him in jail. So he was never able to like fully, make it in life because of that.
No, the reason why he couldn't do anything so like he got his degrees, but he couldn't implement them because of the fact
He was always
that
going
he
in
had
jail.
a criminal record.
Okay.
No, most engineering like jobs, I would imagine, are many of them, not all of them. They want like a background check because they don't want you stealing from them and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yep.
So therefore, he would automatically not get the job because of that.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So that he is intelligent. It's just not to the level of like Tony Stark,
Yeah.
Bruce Banner. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not so far behind, but like he's very intelligent. But comparatively to many of the other Avengers, he's not the smartest.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
And I think with his joking, he makes him like many people underestimate Scott Lang's intelligence. Because of the joking and stuff like that. But overall, I definitely think he is smart, and he would be able to figure out how to travel through, especially with the fact that he already knows how to do it from the help of the others. So he'd be able to do so without a problem.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, look at how like he was adjusting. He started working on the suit for Hank Pym.
That's true.
At one point.
That's true.
So I know that he has the capability of doing so. I think I don't think he's not the guy who can like make it completely work, but he has the concepts and everything else, and he's going to need assistance with it. But I think this particular piece, because he's already seen it in action, he won't need the help anymore. He's just got to just do the work. And that's my personal prediction on what's going to happen.
So I'm gonna backtrack a little bit because now I realized what I had remembered.
No, it's all right. Just ride my coattails.
Yeah, I will. It's 100%. So the difference between the more we always talked about it, because you always knew you know more about the characters, I kind of leaned towards agreeing with you with how you were what your predictions were. But for my predictions for my initial predictions of what was going on in this movie, I just assumed I had always originally assumed that this Kang was going to be this was going to be the first outside of He Who Remains and Loki. This was going to be the first real introduction to Kang in the MCU. So this is gonna be the initial of we've met Kang. This is who he is. This is how powerful he is. I know we've talked about it. Like I didn't think that we were gonna see multiple Kangs because I just thought this was gonna be the first taste of him, and then later on in other MCU shows we were gonna see more Kang, whether it's the same Kang, uh, fighting other people, other Kang or whatever. I just assumed that
Well,
this.
it's been confirmed that we're going to see at least one other variant of Kang
Mhm,
in the Fantastic Four.
yeah. Um, So my thought was that this was going to be the Kang. We weren't going to see him fighting other Kang. We were going to see this Kang just be evil and
Hmm.
commit atrocities that, um, like you said, just see a taste of what he's doing, like see how manipulative he is, how sadistic he can be. Um, and then, like I said, I think he's going to escape from quantum realm. But there's also maybe some other situation where he might not escape yet. Like you said, they both lose because the way the trailer makes it seem, like Scott says in the trailer, I don't have to win. We both just need to lose.
Hmm.
So maybe he doesn't actually end up escaping, and they both get trapped in there. And then in another MCU, he somehow escapes. Um,
Well, see, that's where I differ with you because if this is all leading to the Secret Wars,
mhm.
right? The battleground that we're in, the quantum realm, the way they made the quantum realm look, it looks very similar to like the battleground where we have the multiverse fight
Yeah.
in Secret Wars. So it wouldn't be all that surprising that he's stuck there,
Hmm.
and like we have to go and stop him.
Hmm.
Like the Avengers have to go and stop him. But I do get your point. I mean, they could change that, and that wouldn't really ruin anything
Yeah.
because no matter what, there's got to be a big fight with King with all of the Avengers.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my thing. Like I said, the more when I first saw this, I was like, okay, this is gonna be Kang. We're gonna see him escape. We're gonna see his power. We're gonna see him do evil things. And then in other MCU projects, we were gonna see other Kangs come into play. And then in those other projects, then maybe we would see them fighting. But then, like I said, as we were talking and we talked more and more, I was like, all right, yours sounds a lot better. So I'm kind of leaning towards more what you always were saying. But yeah, that was what I had when we first started seeing Ant-Man stuff. That was my initial thought. But as we talk more, I I do like your thoughts more.
Well, like I said, I think the big difference we have is just that, or the fact that you're agreeing with it now is just for the sheer fact that I do get what you're saying in the sense of, well, we've already seen another version of King. Yes, we have, and I'm not disagreeing with that. I just think that Marvel wants to make it very clear to all audiences, even if they haven't seen Loki,
Hmm.
that there are other versions of Kang, and like this one is like the end all be all.
Yep.
Like he's going to be the one that's like the big bad, and that's the big thing. But yeah, I mean that's. But again, anything can happen. We're going to find out soon.
Yep.
But I'm 100% looking forward to it, mostly because this is the first movie that's really pushing the new phase,
Yes.
or at least the new bad, I guess you would say. Maybe not the phase, but definitely like the new big bad.
Is this considered Phase 4 or 5?
This is considered phase
This
five.
is the beginning of 5. Yeah. So
Yes,
yeah,
because
Black Panther was the last
supposedly
of 4.
it was the end, which I wasn't clear. Like originally when they first announced it, I thought Phase Four ended with Ant Man and the Wasp, but apparently it ended with Wakanda Forever, and then five starts with Excuse me, Ant-Man.
Yeah, which it makes sense because now, you know,
No, I
they
agree with
spent
you. I'm
phase 4 building the new characters, and now phase 5 is now, okay, here are the
the
characters.
building of the big bad.
Yep, here's the big bad. This is who these characters are going to be fighting. That makes sense.
Correct. And then that's pretty much where we're going with that, and that's everything in Marvel so far. Um, so
Which we
I'm
were a
gonna go
little
first.
disappointed. We thought there were going to be 2 other Marvel trailers, but
Yeah, we were supposed to. Well, the idea was we were going to have the Marvels and the newest or latest or final.
another new
The
Ant-Man
last,
trailer, but
correct. That was the rumor for the Super Bowl, but neither of those happened. Although it does make sense a little bit that they didn't have one for Ant-Man because they did have like what was the final trailer
yeah,
that already came out. But the Marvels, I was kind of surprised by. But whatever, it's not the end of the world.
it is what it is. There's
So
still plenty of time for that.
yeah, I mean it doesn't come out till the summer, so it's not the end of the world. Um, but anyway, so we're gonna move on to our character spotlights. I'm gonna go first. So I'm gonna be talking about a guy. His real name, his birth name, is John, and I'm hoping I say this right, John Falsworth. So it's spelled Falsworth. So it's making me want to say Falsworth, but it could be something slightly different. But anyway, he starts off as a British man who is unhappy with what's going on in Britain, and he wants revenge and removing British rule and everything else. So, as any sane person would do, he goes to find Dracula because he's going to control Dracula. He's going to control Dracula and get him to do what he wants because that makes sense.
That is going to end so well.
So he goes to Dracula's castle, and shockingly, he doesn't defeat Dracula or convince him to do anything.
No.
Correct. Dracula, shockingly, turns this man into a vampire. I know. I'm as shocked as everyone else.
Man, and that's such a arm twister.
I know. So anyway, we then have him. He does the bidding of Dracula for a while. Then he breaks free of the mind control, and he actually fights in World War One and Two. And what's really funny is, so he's a vampire, okay, and the reason why he's on the German side is because he doesn't like Britain. That's the only reason. And he goes by the code name Blood Baron. And that's what his name sticks with for the rest of the comic books. So he goes by Blood Baron. So he's gone up against Captain America, obviously, and everything else. So the First World War, he's on the German side, wanting to get rid of Britain. Then he's in World War II, does the same thing, but now has to deal with Captain America. And he loses the fight, but he stays alive. He's immortal. He's a vampire. So as time goes on, we go back into modern times. He's survived everything. He's kind of been floating around, literally and figuratively, dealing with all this stuff. So he's been very just under the radar stuff. In the present, he's now trying to team up with Hydra and take out not just Britain. He wants to just get rid of everyone. So at this point, he starts working with Hydra and everything else. And one of the weird things that happens, is, in my opinion anyway, is he gets hunted by Kraven the Hunter, which I find, out of all people, that's who goes after him. You know what I'm saying? It's just surprising. Not the fact that he was hunted by somebody, like obviously it would be Kraven the Hunter, but I'm just saying that I'm surprised that he's even involved with this character. So anyway, what happens is he gets stabbed through with a silver javelin, survives, which is very shocking because he's a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
He later dies from a woman stabbing him with a spike, a wooden stake. Right?
Anticlimactic.
Oh no, it gets better. He gets resurrected. Shocking.
Jason.
He gets experimented on, which I think is weird in the sense of that. So it's unclear if it's Hydra or somebody else. But he gets experimented on, and he's resistant to sunlight. So he doesn't just burst into flames. So he can be in sunlight for an extended period of time, which does weaken him and everything else. Like all that stays the same, but he's not completely resistant to it. He's like he can't walk out there forever. He has to find shelter, but he won't instantly burst into flames.
Oh.
So he goes through all that stuff and everything else, and he's got so his big thing now is he's actually gone up against the new Captain America, um, aka what's his name, Sam Wilson,
So he fought
and
both.
he's actually been taken out, huh?
So he fought both.
Yeah, so he's actually fought both. So I thought he only faced the original Captain America, but later on he actually fought against the new Captain America. And now, so anyway, so he apparently he was knocked out and was taken out, and taken by Shield, and he's in prison now. So he's not dead anymore, but he's not free anymore. And the big thing with him is so Marvel does this like power grid type thing, and I always find some of this stuff weird. But anyway, so it's out of 7. So his intelligence is a 3, which is considered learned intelligence, which is supposed to be slightly above average. Um, I think it has to do more with the fact that he's just old. Like he just knows so much because he's old. Like he's not necessarily super intelligent, but like he's lived like so many centuries
Makes
that
sense.
he knows a lot. He's superhuman strong, so he can lift between 825 tons. That's a 4 out of 7. His speed is a 3 out of 7, which is considered just superhuman. His durability is a 4 because he's regenerative, but there is a limit to his regenerative abilities. And then this part gets me. So energy projection is a 6 out of 7, which I find weird, but it's because he has multiple types of energy, and I'll go into that in a minute. And then his fighting style is 3, which is some training. So his abilities are, because he's a vampire, he has superhuman strength, speed, stamina, healing factor. He's immortal to a point. I say that because he's not affected by age. That's what immortality means now. It's not that you live forever. It's just for the sheer fact that you won't die of old age. He's resistant to sunlight, which we talked about. So he can actually go out apparently for a half hour without um, sustaining any side effects, which is actually new to me. I thought he got weaker automatically, but he doesn't. And then he has flight. He can move at speeds of 50 miles per hour. He has hypnotism. Sorry. So he has the capability of mentally enslaving an individual as long as they maintain eye contact for at least a few seconds. Obviously, the more strong-willed they are, the harder it is to do. Blah blah blah. He can mentally control animals. He has weather manipulation, which I find weird. So he has the capability of affecting weather, but in a small area. Now, it says small area. I'm thinking the size of like a neighborhood. But apparently it weakens him significantly. So he can do it. Like he can like control, like make this massive storm in this one area. But once it's done, he's like dead. Like not actually dead, but like exhausted.
Mhm.
Um, and then this is a weird one too. He can produce a knockout gas from his nostrils. And it's so powerful, it can even render Namor useless.
Wow.
I know, I found that weird too.
Very
He's highly
specific.
skilled. Yeah, well, I think it's because of Namor's resistance to knockout gas. Um, and then his weaknesses are religious symbols, beheading, fire, silver, wooden stake, and exposure to sunlight. Even though he has an increased resistance to sunlight, he cannot withstand the sunlight forever. So he does have to get out of it at some point. And he's also not the only one who is the Blood Baron. There have been 3 others who have taken the name, but I don't need to talk about them. So that's actually, I thought it was interesting. So he's been somebody from around since Captain America times during World War II. Technically World War One, but for comic purposes, World War II. And he's been around forever. I mean, he's obviously died for a little bit, but I mean, he's come back and made his I don't want to say his debut again, but like made a rebirth, I guess you would say. So I thought it was kind of cool, just for the fact that I find it hilarious that his last name is like a play on false worth because he really wanted Dracula to help him get wealth and power. Like, yes, he wanted to take down the British, Empire and stuff like that, or the British government. But like, he really wanted just wealth and power. So it's got false worth. I just find it hilarious. It's like a play on his name. But yeah, that's my character.
It's a fun character. I like that. um, so, my character is technically a known character. It is a variant.
Okay, I'll allow it.
You better allow it because you told me I could do that.
No, I know. I did say variants were allowed.
So I chose Captain Thunder. So who do you think it is?
Is that who I think it is? Is it Shazam?
Yes. So there are so from what I could see, there are two versions of this Captain Thunder. The most recent version of Captain Thunder is from Flashpoint. The Shazam in Flashpoint, his name is actually Captain Thunder. And his difference is that instead of Billy Batson being the sole person to control Shazam, in the Flashpoint paradox, it is his whole family. There is a group of 6 orphans and a tiger that become Captain Thunder. And each of them have a specific power to create the seven gods. He has all the same powers as Shazam in the regular world, but just the only difference is that instead of only being Billy Batson, it's his whole family of orphans plus a tiger.
So just to clarify, is Captain Thunder him only, or are they all collectively Captain Thunder?
They're all collectively Captain Thunder. It's just Billy Batson's the known one, so that's why I was saying Billy Batson.
Oh, okay, all right. No, I just wanted to make that clear.
They each, like I said, they each have
their own unique god.
Yeah, they each have a different power, and when they come together, they become one.
Oh, so more like Captain Planet.
Yeah.
So they're all separate, and then they combine together into Shazam.
Yeah.
AKA Captain Thunder.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if I can find that exact.
That's actually cooler.
But so the original introduction to Captain Thunder, instead of being Billy Batson, still an orphan kid, the person that became Captain Thunder, his name was Willie Fawcett. Don't look at me in that tone of voice.
I'm just confused, but continue.
So he was every year he would go to a summer camp, and one day he wandered off, found a rock with a cave. He went into the cave, and there was a spirit. The spirit's name was Meroki, and when the spirit saw Willie, he deemed him worthy to finally take his powers, and he could finally move on into the afterlife. So Meroki passed his powers along to Willie, and he gave him the power of tornado, the speed of a hare, the bravery of an Uncas, the wisdom of nature, the toughness of a diamond, the flight of an eagle, and the tenacity of a ram. And if you spell out all those words from the first letter, it spells out thunder.
I was like, wait a minute, and I realized, it literally spells thunder.
Yep. So to play on the different thing, if he wanted to gain his powers, he had to yell out thunder instead of Shazam. And when the noise came down and it struck him, when the lightning, when it came down and it hit him,
Yes.
it made a shaboom noise. That's what it says, shaboom. Um,
I'm assuming just because it's thunder.
yeah,
It's not lightning,
yeah,
it's thunder.
yeah.
As stupid as that sounds,
No,
but yes,
yep,
I
yep.
got you.
So, um, when he got this power, he would fight crime, and he would try to become a hero. And one major fight that he was in, he was facing a group called the Monster League of Evil. He defeated them. Now, and from what I saw, it was very specific. He fought that group a specific number of times, 1,953 different dimensions. So
Okay.
finally, he defeated them and imprisoned them. But upon defeating them, they put like a curse on him that the next time he would go into his power, something would happen to him. So when he finished defeating them, he returned to Earth, but it wasn't his Earth. It was Earth 1, our Earth, the one that we know with Superman and all those normal humans, normal
Okay.
heroes. Um, so when he got into Earth, he tried to go into his power, and when he did that, their trick activated it and it turned him evil. So he ended up fighting Superman, and uh, they fought, and eventually, what? Uh, Finally, Superman forced him back into being a human, and when he did that, they figured out that he was actually like he didn't know what was going on.
He
And
wasn't
he
in control of
Yeah,
himself.
he wasn't in control, and finally, they were able to reverse the side effects that they placed on him. And um, once he got cured, when he got cured of their curse or whatever it was, he was able to return back to his own dimension.
Okay, fair enough.
Um, but yeah, that was the character that I chose. Like I said, he has the normal abilities of Shazam, just they're called different. Instead of it being lightning, it is thunder, and it's got a little bit of play on the words, which I thought was a little bit thought it was a little fun. Um, he's got all the same powers as Shazam. He's invulnerable, super speed, all that other stuff.
Now, is he completely the same powers? Meaning, like, same level of powers, too? Meaning, like, his strength is equal to that of Shazam? Or is it just an assumption that he is?
No, it's the same. It's the same.
Okay. Well,
He,
no, meaning, like, obviously he's super strong, super fast, but is he just as strong and just as fast as the Shazam?
so from this thing that I've seen, it says along with the normal things. Captain Thunder also possesses the same abilities as Captain Marvel, considering that he was made as a response to him. This includes super strength, magic, super speed, and invulnerability. So he's just the
Okay, so
same. He's the exact same
he's
character, just a
different
variant.
universe.
Um,
Fair enough.
a lazy pick, but
No,
Shazam has
not
always
really.
been what I've always liked Shazam, and I thought it was a nice little
I
origin.
No, I was gonna say, like, I wish I knew Shazam when I was a kid, because I think I would have liked Shazam a hell of a lot more,
Mm,
because he's a kid. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like, especially for the fact, like, it would make more sense for us as kids loving him,
yeah.
because it's like, oh my gosh, we literally could be a hero.
Yeah, it's literally like you're a kid that gets put into an adult body. Like everyone always looked up to Superman and
But
Batman,
like,
but like,
but like, he literally turns himself into Superman.
yeah,
Like, that's basically, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, it's different, but like, that's like the equivalent. Like, a kid gets his wish, he gets to be Superman.
hmm yeah. It's like that one. It's like the one Justice League Unlimited episode where he's he's in the he goes up against Superman, and was it Justice League Unlimited? Either way, one of the Justice League ones. He uh he was going to get inducted into the Justice League, but he ends up he says it. He's like, "You were my hero. I looked up to you, and I wanted to be you It's like
Mm.
literally that's what it is because you're a kid, like you said, you're a kid and you
Literally
became
became.
Superman with
Yeah, I
thunder.
mean, again, his own version, but like, yes, but like that, he's the closest that he could possibly be to Superman than he ever could have been.
Hmm.
But definitely. Well, I mean, that's pretty much it. So what's going to happen with this episode is this going to air on YouTube on the 15th of February. We've had some technical issues with it loading up onto Spotify. So we are not going to be uploading it at the same time like we would normally do. We're going to hold off until we fix the problem, and then all 3 episodes will be on Spotify once the problem is resolved. You're able to watch it or listen to it on Anchor right now, the first 2 episodes, but we're not going to upload it to Anchor this time until we fix and resolve the problems of what's going on with our connection between Anchor and Spotify. But we are hoping to get that fixed before the next episode, but we will have to wait and see what happens because it's very frustrating on our end. But that being said, I will 100% be ready to be watched on YouTube starting on the 15th. You know, a big kudos to everyone who's watched so far. We finally made it to double digits views. Woohoo! So we're looking forward to increasing that and getting to triple digits as soon as possible. But as always, thank you very much for listening, and we will see you again in the end of the month. So thank you very much, and we'll be talking more about Ant-Man and the Wasp specifically for sure. Other things as well, but like that's going to be the big topic. So this is going to be us signing out. So have a great night.